Sandra Pattison never envisioned herself making meals for dozens of children. For one thing, she doesn't even like to cook.
I'm not fond of cooking and so on, but you know, I do it, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting that how God uses us despite our weaknesses.
It's Wednesday, and in the Pattison household, that means it's time to make sandwiches. 100 of them. That's how much food it takes to feed these little tummies.
We'll do about 100 egg sandwiches, probably that many or more bagels, 80 pounds of bananas. Yogurts we'll do, I don't know, 24 liters or so or more a week.
Rob and Sandra Pattison are the driving force behind Street Connection, a mobile soup kitchen in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
We operate in 4 areas of the Halifax regional municipality. We basically hand out food and clothing to low-income families in those areas. We have 3 sections of the bus. The front section we do clothing. The middle section we have a side door that rolls up and we hand out food from there. And the back we distribute fresh bread.
Tonight, they're in Mulgrave Park, a bustling community in the north end of Halifax.
Well, the places we go to are all low-income areas. They're all low-income city housing. A lot of the people that come to the bus are single moms, just trying to live on a limited income and raise children and all the things that go with that.
Elaine Williams is chair of the Mulgrave Park Tenants Association.
It's a wonderful community, a lot of kids, a lot of close-knit families, and a lot of new families coming in, and it's a wonderful place to live. It really is.
In addition to their weekly food stops, some parents also rely on Street Connection for clothing needs.
They supply hats and gloves for the kids in the wintertime, and they've been a wonderful resource for our community.
And while the bus can only be there once a week, many in the community, she says, are grateful for the hand.
The kids enjoy them coming out, and the parents even enjoy them coming out. Street Connection, it's been a wonderful support to the Tenants Association.
The Pattisons have devoted 18 years to Street Connection and admit they never thought their lives would take this route.
I was in the RCMP from 1980 to 85, and I got out basically just to get back home to Nova Scotia. Working in a soup kitchen as a volunteer, I started seeing a need to go to other areas of the city that wasn't being met with a stationary soup kitchen. I started to sense a strong call from God to full-time ministry.
And once they got that call, they simply couldn't ignore it.
I just had a peace about it and we said, yeah.
We go to the Bible and it says basically, to feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, visiting those in prison, and I just started looking for ways to actually start doing that.
Rob quit his job and they bought an old school bus and the ministry began. 15 years later, they came to another juncture. The bus was breaking down.
And we literally stepped out in faith once more and launched a small fundraising campaign with some local business people. And within several months, we were able to raise about $140,000. But within a very short time, from the time we actually started thinking about a new bus to actually having one on the road was just over a year, which was pretty amazing considering we had no money to start with.
They've had to make that leap of faith several times over the years. Like many of the families they serve, they know what it's like to worry about making ends meet.
We technically can't afford to do what we do. It just, God provides. For 18 years, without exception, God has provided for every need. There's been many tight times, but there's never been a bill we couldn't pay. Our children never went hungry. We've never gone hungry, and so God is faithful.
These kids are their fuel, say the Pattisons, and the opportunity to serve while sharing their faith is what's kept them coming back for almost 2 decades.
So when you see these kids who are quite innocent coming to get something to eat, and you see how I get a little just emotional thinking about it, but just how faithful God is to provide, and these kids are special in His sight, and He touches us. Lord, again, we just thank you for this time together.
In return, Street Connection has been faithful, giving what little they have. At Mulgrave Park, it's time for Street Connection to hit the road. But they'll be back, as always, next week, with clothing and food in hand, in the hopes that their small gesture will have a lasting impact.
And as long as God continues to provide, we'll continue to do it. We'll give them whatever they want, as much food as they want and they can eat, we'll keep giving it to them as long as we have food to hand out.
In Halifax, Nova Scotia, Bridget Entry, 100 Huntley Street.